Follow this method and you'll be so good at painting braids. So let's get straight into it. So what you want to do first is to draw the actual braid. Don't draw the lines inside the braid because we're going to paint inside it, so there's no point in doing it now. We're going to do it later on, which I'll show you. This is what the braid should look like. If you're a beginner, I would suggest do big braids like these. Don't do small ones because the process is very tedious, is that the word, and it's very precise. But anyways, use a pure black paint, this one on the screen. I got it from Amazon. I'll put the link in the description box. And then I use this white paint. Those are the two main ingredients or paints that we're going to be using. Next, you want to get your paint palette and then get your white paint and add some paint inside one of the holes, and then you want to do the same for the black paint. I've shown you how much paint I've used, and just take some black paint and put it inside one of the other holes next to it, because we're going to blend a little bit of white just to do the first base color. So that's what I'm doing now. Just take that much amount of black paint, and then for the white paint, which I'm going to show you now, take just about a dot, just a little bit, because the base color needs to be quite dark because it's just the base color. Don't bother doing it too bright because your braids are not going to look very natural and it's going to look way too bright. So just mix that together until you get this color. I know the color looks very similar to the black paint, the pure black paint, but trust me, as you go on, it will make sense. Now, take the paint that we just mixed and fill in the white spaces of each braid, and ensure that when you do fill in the white spaces, leave a little bit of a space in between the two braids, because this ensures that when you do when you do the details of each braid, you'll be able to see which one you're working on. So as you go on, just fill in each braid and it should look something like this. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, but just make sure it's filled in. And this is what I mean by the little bit of a gap in between the braids, because then I know which braid I'm working on. Now that we filled in the braids, this is where it gets a little bit hard. So you want to take a little bit of white paint, just like how I'm showing you on the screen, and then we're going to mix that exact same white paint on my paintbrush with the the mixed black color that we just previously used. So just dip that white paint and mix it. Guys, I'm telling you, painting braids, you have to pay attention to detail because you need to get the colors right or it just doesn't look good at all. So just keep mixing the paint. I know the colors look very similar again, but you can use a torchlight if that makes more sense to you, because you can see the colors a lot more better. And then what you want to do now is fill in the braid that we just filled in with paint, and just go over it the same way that we just did it. Again guys, please ensure you do not fill that little bit of a gap between the braids, because you will get so confused when you're trying to do the details of the braid. Now we want to take our pure black paint, you know, the paint from the original container of the paint, not the mixed ones, and you want to do the lines that are in between the braids. You can always use a reference picture. I usually do, but today I'm just doing a tutorial, so I'm kind of just winging it, because whenever I use a reference picture I can get all the highlights of each individual braid, but for this video it doesn't really matter that much because I'm not doing a lot. Okay, you can barely see the black line, but again, use a torch. You can use your phone light if you want to, just so you can properly see the details that you're doing. And then of course use your reference picture again. Guys, I know this process takes very long, but it's worth it. And when I first started painting braids, I just couldn't do it because I was trying to follow other people's tutorials. And yes, I did use them as a basis for what I do now, but I eventually found my own style, and from then I've been doing my own thing. What you could do as well is to label each color mixture so you don't get confused. For example, the first mixture could be number 1 and then the next could be number 2. Now we want to take a little bit of white paint and mix it into the color mixture that we previously made. And sometimes I kind of just add white paint as I go on because I don't feel like it looks bright enough, because this part is used for the highlights of the braids so it can look more realistic. And if you feel like the highlights are not light enough, just add more white paint, but just don't make it too bright because it won't look natural. So this is where it gets a little bit difficult and you need to be very, very careful. I'm going to use 2 different brushes, which I'm going to show you on the screen. You're going to use that flat brush on the left, and then you're going to use the smaller brush, which is on my right hand. And the one on my right hand, you use it to add the paint, and then the one on my left hand, I'm going to use to blend in the paint. As you can see, I'm mixing a little bit more white into the mixture because I did not feel like it looked bright enough, so that's what I'm doing now. This part is you need to be very precise. So you want to take your thin brush that I'm mixing with, and of course you can clean the brush with a piece of tissue because you don't want to have too much paint on the braid. So take the paint and just do a dot of paint at the top of each curve of the black line, and then quickly blend it in with your flat brush. You have to be very, very precise, so just keep doing that dot of paint at the top of each black curve, near the corner I would say, because it's where the highlight will be, and always just use your dry flat brush to blend it in. As you can see, you can barely see the highlight, so of course I added some more white paint just so it can look a lot brighter. So if you feel like your braids look like mine, just add a bit of white paint in the mixture and mix it, and then do the same process that I just showed you. Yes, this takes a while to do, but honestly, if you want your painting to look realistic, you have to put the effort in and just keep doing it, I would say. Practice literally makes perfect, because I never used to be good at painting, but as I practice more, I've just become even better. So if you feel like you're not that good right now, trust me, give it a few months and you will be so good. Again, I wanted the highlights to look a bit brighter, so what I'm about to do now is add a little bit of white paint to the mixture. So as you can see, the white paint is being mixed, and then do the same process again until you feel like it looks realistic, I would say. Just use the same technique, don't change the technique, just use the same one over and over again. And yeah, that's literally how you do the braids. I remember the second time I did a painting of braids, they were very tiny and that took a really long time, but it was so worth it because it looked so cool. It even had like a star shape as well on it. I really hope I explained this well, guys, because I've not really done a tutorial that much before. So I'm really trying my best because I want my YouTube channel to grow and just want to show you guys how I do my paintings. I'm planning on doing a really cool painting. But anyways, let me actually get back on track on the painting. So I took a little bit of the previously mixed paint and I mixed it with some white for extra highlights again, and do the same technique or process. And as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit more realistic, and the black lines are showing up a lot more too. So you see what I was talking about? Always do at the top of the corner of each curve. And obviously I added more white paint in the mixture, so that's why it's showing up a lot more better. And yeah, I'm really proud of this, and I love painting braids so much because of this. It's a very unique way of doing it and just one of my favorite things ever to do. We're almost done, guys, and the reason why it's not my video is not proper sped up is because I really want you guys to see each detail that I do, because if you miss one step, it ruins the whole thing and you have to start again, because it's just very long to start again, and you don't want to do that because you spend so much time doing literally 2 braids. So because now you've completed 1 braid, doing the other braid might be slightly easier because now you get the process. So just do the same thing over and over again. Basically the end of the tutorial. Please like, comment and subscribe. Follow my TikTok on Sierra Designs. I'm gonna put it on my description box, but it's the same as my YouTube name. And I will be uploading more videos of me painting, and yeah, I don't know what else to do on this channel. I think it's just gonna be painting for now, and stay tuned for my next videos. I'm also going to start uploading more on my TikTok. I need to be more consistent because I've not been that consistent lately, but now I feel more motivated to paint again. And yeah. Well guys, this is the finishing result, and I tried to get a good video of it and get good lighting. Hopefully it shows up well, and ignore the actual face that I did because I didn't like that painting. But yeah, that's my little tutorial.